another edition of Sports Talk. It is Saturday, June 17, 2023. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. Reminding you that Sports Talk is brought to you by Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. In today's show, we'll be focusing on some, I wouldn't say unusual topics that we cover here, but a lot has been going on over the last 2 weeks, including Jamaica's historic qualification to the Hockey Fives World Cup. And we will be joined by President of the Jamaica Hockey Federation, Fabian Stewart, after the 1:15 break to talk about that. Jamaica getting one of these spots after beating Paraguay in that third place playoff. So Jamaica's men's team will be playing in a Hockey World Cup next year. So we'll talk about that very soon. And then after the 1:30 break, we will hear from ESPN's analysis team of Max Kellerman, Keyshawn, and Jay Williams as they talk about the Denver Nuggets, who won their first ever NBA title, beating the Miami Heat 4-1 in the NBA Finals. So we will hear that. Then after the 1:45 break, we're going to play a little Father's Day feature on some of, hearing from some of the fathers whose sons play at the very highest level. So stay tuned for that. Reminding you that you can interact with me throughout the show. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you can go in the comment section or tune in or message on WhatsApp 997. Let me just verify that number just again today. I don't know what happened to me today, but let me just verify that number with you very shortly. Also, remember, you can listen to the show in several different ways. You can download the Love FM app in the Google Play or App Store, depending on what smart device you have. You can go online at love101.org, listen live there. As I mentioned, you can watch live on YouTube and Facebook to see what's going on, or you can do it the old-fashioned way by tuning in on your radio, 101.1 all the way to 101.9, depending on where you are on the island. So thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Truly appreciate your support. So remember, that number is 997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. I say that number every week, and it's because of the heat. Trust me, people, the heat has been killing me. Has it been killing you for those Jamaicans? The heat has, but hoping that the Lord sends some rain and cool us down, because we truly need it. All right, so we're going to hear my monologue very shortly, but first, as always, we like to start with the sports bits, which is just a mini sports report. So let's start with football, as the Reggae Boys will look to end their preparation for the upcoming CONCACAF Gold Cup when they take on Jordan in a friendly on Monday. The Jamaicans went down 2-1 to 2022 World Cup host Qatar on Thursday. Coach Jaime Hallgrimson was disappointed with the team's performance against Qatar and is hoping for an improved performance against Jordan. Following Monday's match, Jamaica will name their final squad for the Gold Cup, where they begin action next Saturday against perennial champions USA. They will also renew rivalry with Trinidad and Tobago. This after Nicaragua were kicked out of the tournament for fielding an ineligible player in previous matches. So that's unfortunate for Nicaragua, who were looking forward to playing in the Gold Cup. And last week, we previewed the Jamaica Premier League final, which happened last Sunday, pardon me. And the Mount Pleasant were named the champions of the Jamaica Premier League following their 2-1 win over Cavalier last Sunday. Sula McCullough was the hero, scoring twice. It's a first local title for Theodore Tapper Whitmore, while assistant Davian Ferguson adds to his collection after several title wins at schoolboy level with Jamaica College. Now, despite the loss, Cavalier, they still qualify for the revamped CONCACAF Caribbean Cup, along with Mount Pleasant and Arnett Gardens, who beat Harborview 1-0 in the third place playoffs. So congratulations to Mount Pleasant for winning their first ever Premier League title. Now, New West Indies assistant coach Carl Hooper says he's confident the team are up for the challenge in the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 qualifier starting on Sunday against the USA in Zimbabwe. The Caribbean side beat the United Arab Emirates 4 times over the last week and a half and got by Scotland in their preparation for the qualifiers. Hooper says the team is ready and has hailed head coach Darren Sammy as an inspirational leader as they seek to qualify for the tournament later this year. After Sunday's game against the Americans, the Shea Hope captain the team will play Nepal, Zimbabwe, and the Netherlands. Following that, if they qualify for the Super 6, only 2 teams will make it to the World Cup. And finally, in some track and field, the world 200-meter champion Shericka Jackson secured third place in her first 100-meter race of the season in the Diamond League in Oslo, Norway on Thursday. Jackson clocked 10.98 seconds behind the Ivory Coast Marie-José Talu, who ran a world lead 10.75 seconds. Bahamian Anthony Strawn ran a personal best of 10.92 to secure second. Rochelle Clayton and Janive Russell clocked season's best for second and fourth, respectively, in the women's 400-meter hurdles, behind the Dutch star Femke Bol, who ran a blistering world lead and meet record 52.30 seconds. Jamaica's Daniel Thomas Dodd, who recently set a national record of 19.77 meters, finished third in the women's shot put with an effort of 19.44 meters. Jamaica's 2-time world championship silver medalist Shanika Ricketts could only manage fourth in the women's triple jump with 14.33 meters. And the 2019 world champion Tajay Gale finished sixth in the men's long jump with an effort of 7.87 meters. And also just a quick update for everyone, concerned about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. On her social media page, she said that she intends to run at the national trials despite her having a bye in the 100 meters. So she will more than likely open her season at the national trials in a few weeks. So for all those concerned about Shelly, she seems to be fine. She's had some injury issues, but it seems like she will be okay to compete at the trials and then at the World Championship. So that is the sports bits for this week, and it is now time for the monologue, which I call the Danielog, as you know. So the Reggae Girls, again, having some issues with the JFF again. So let me read the statement just for clarity. So this is the statement that the Reggae Girls put out, saying, one of the greatest honors for a footballer is to represent your national team. Qualifying for a second World Cup is something most never imagined, or thought possible for the Reggae Girls. At a time where we should be focused on solely preparing to compete on the world's largest stage, we are unfortunately compelled to express our utmost disappointment with the Jamaica Football Federation. On multiple occasions, we have sat down with the Federation to respectfully express concerns resulting from subpar planning, transportation, accommodations, training conditions, compensation, communication, nutrition, and accessibility to proper resources. That is a lot. We have also showed up repeatedly without receiving contractually agreed upon compensation. We were told that all our requests and concerns would be resolved in a timely manner. Unfortunately, that time has expired, and once again, our questions go unanswered and our concerns unresolved. Let me just skip to the end. It says, we hope by using our platforms to express the reality of our situations, our efforts will be reciprocated. We hope there will be an immediate and systematic change within our federation and those in charge of protecting the integrity of women's football. So there was more, but essentially the JFF not holding up their end of the bargain, and in the JFF in a statement saying that they acknowledge fault and they are working as quickly as possible to rectify some of those issues. Now, I remember when I used to follow, well, it's not like I willingly followed. When I was forced to go to like the supermarket or like shopping centers or and so forth with my mother, because as you know, children not really supposed to stay at home by themselves. I remember sometimes you used to give trouble, and I don't know about this generation, but back in my day, you used to get some lick. You know, if Jamaicans should know. Maybe not the current Jamaicans, who are setting a better example by talking things through and those things. But Daniel Blake used to get lick. So it happened once, okay, happened twice, three times, but after a while, you start to say to yourself, Daniel, all right, let me try and behave better because one, me don't want to get licked because lick hurt. You get pinched, belt, everything. And also it was sort of embarrassing because you have adults and other children looking on and you there they are ball out your eyes because you are giving trouble. So over time, I realized and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this so I don't get the lick. And I won't do this so I don't get embarrassed. So yes, sometimes I, made mistakes. But on a whole, the trouble giving did stop because me never want the embarrassment. Now, I think the JFF at this point doesn't care about the licks that them get or the embarrassment they face because this is a consistent issue. This happens all the time. It happened a lot under previous General Secretary Dalton Winton. They got rid of him. They brought in Dennis Chung, and we thought it would usher in a new age of the JFF, that there would be no more issues regarding accommodation, flights, compensation, preparation for matches, none of those things. But here we are again. And it also happened with our under 20 girls because when they were preparing for their World Cup qualifiers, there were issues with their flights. I believe with the under 15 boys team or under 17 boys team, if I'm remembering correctly, there was an issue there. And there have been a whole host of issues 7 months on Dennis Chung's appointment as General Secretary. Now, at some point, the JFF must say to themselves, how can we avoid this happening? I know that we say it a lot, but we're in 2023 and you would only hope that somebody in that federation would say, okay, cool, let's try and stop this from happening. Because these dates don't just magically show up. The Reggae Girls knew that they were going to play the World Cup in July a long time ago. JFF knew that. All right, so the compensation, we need to sort that out. The camp, we need to sort that out. The international friendly windows, we know that long in advance. So let's start talking to teams long before. And I know them going to say, oh, the resources, this and that. But it's just like basic planning. And it seems like they don't communicate with the teams. And we were told that they plan to be more transparent. And yet the Reggae Girls saying timeline pass and nobody don't say nothing. We don't get proper things and we are going to represent the country on an international level. And this happens. At some point, somebody at the JFF, at the presidential level, at the board of directors levels, at some level, somebody must say to themselves, let's start planning long in advance so that we can avoid the embarrassment. BBC reporting on it, I believe AP News. We've gotten international coverage because the JFF screwed up. At what point, seriously, at what point somebody just say, you know what, we're tired of this, we're tired of the embarrassment. But seems like a lot of them don't care. And not trying to be pessimistic, but I guarantee you that this is going to happen again in the near future. Just hoping that for the reggae girls' sake that this doesn't cause too much damage to their performances at the World Cup next month, because they've worked extremely hard to get to where they are, and they deserve the absolute best. So, oh boy. Anyways, some more positive news when we come back from the break, as Jamaica's men's hockey team, they have qualified for the Hockey Fives World Cup, and we're going to talk about it with President Fabian Stewart. So stay with us right here on Sports Talk.
As a flow technician, the best part of the job is connecting families and communities to the internet, and we're committed to delivering the service you deserve. We are addressing your challenges. Our team has proactively visited over 10,000 homes to ensure that you have a reliable experience inside and out. And we're not stopping there. My name is Cleveland, and I'm a proud flow technician.
Everything we are doing is inspired by our harshest critic. You join Jamaica's Fiberfast network and rediscover flow today.
We've been through hills and valleys, stars rocking, God's made with us special. And every time we thought it was over, the Lord gave us cover, and He defeated our foes. Looking back, we now can say, the Lord has helped us all His way. And now we're celebrating 50 years of music family. 50 years of love, we're celebrating 50 years of music family. 50 years of love, we're celebrating 50 years of love, we're celebrating 50 years of love. Very stations, love to the nations, the faces of love falling here. The memories of reaching out to listeners all about it. It's very exciting. So looking back, we all can say, the Lord has helped us all His way. And now we're celebrating 50 years of music family. 50 years of love, we're celebrating 50 years of music family. 50 years of love, we're celebrating 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 50 years of love. We're celebrating 50 years of love.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration, known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on the family station Love 101. So history was created last Sunday because Jamaica's men's hockey team, they qualified for the Hockey Fives World Cup. They beat Paraguay 5-2 in the third place playoff, just down the road here in Kingston at the Mona Hockey Field, to secure one of those coveted spots. So just like many of our other teams or football teams or cricket team, even though it's West Indies, and several of our other top sporting teams, we will now have a team in hockey who will be competing at the World Cup. Joining us to talk about this historic feat is the president of the Jamaica Hockey Federation, Fabian Stewart. Fabian, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm not bad. I am sure that you are much better than me. I know it's almost been a week. Does it still feel surreal, or has things soaked in and you're in no planning mode?
It's kind of funny. We've been in planning mode for a long time, and this is what the result of so far of that particular strategic plan has sort of you know provided some fruits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so ahead of the qualifiers, you were pretty confident that the men's and women's team would compete. Unfortunately, our women just missed out. But what was it that made you confident that our team could qualify for this tournament, especially knowing that it's a fairly new format?
the we've started the preparation for fives from as far back as 2017. Um, you know, I have to give a lot of credit to people like Dr. Michelle Holt, Dr. Campbell, a couple of us. When we looked at what was required, we ensured first and foremost that the team we ensured sorry we ensured that the team we had a junior team that went into the World Cup, into the qualifiers at I got a little distracted. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
We ensured that we had a junior team that went to the Guadalajara games,
Yes.
and that's in Mexico. And that team has 5 of the young men playing now and a couple of the women. So we really started out and looked at it and had a vision related to the shorter version of the game, and just started to put things together from as early as 2017. So that we really, just built on several things coming to this particular point.
Yeah, we as sports people like to say that teams play better when they have home advantage. How impactful would you say was home advantage for our men's team? Being at Mona Hockey Field, training there for a very long time. How impactful do you think it was in their performances?
No, it does play a serious role. In any international tournament, hosting international tournament is one of our pillars, and that is something. The 6 man that was there, I remember we have a hockey group, a bunch of Jamaicans that played in Florida called, the Sunday Hockey. Judy Bloomfield and a couple of other individuals came down. They roared and pushed those guys and willed the team to victory. I mean, it was evident in especially the third and fourth playoff where they played Paraguay, where we were down at one stage to 2 against 4. That allowed us to really, I mean, that support of the individuals that were there really lifted the Jamaican team. So it's not just about the facilities, it's something that we had worked on. Again, Dr. Campbell and his team just magnificent job on the facility. But it is also just that comfort level when you're at home,
Yeah.
in just getting up, getting prepared, and just showing the Jamaican public that you are capable of competing at the highest level.
Yeah, we often talk about players' performances again as sports people because they are the ones who go out there and perform. But how pleased were you with Coach Henlon and Coach Bradshaw throughout this entire process?
Again, I keep saying something that I will repeat over and over. Coach Enlan and Coach Bradshaw have had and remain, um, having the confidence of the board and me as president, because they actually went through a coaching program that we had actually established, and they are currently, to my knowledge, possibly the highest qualified coaches, and I'd say highest qualified, current qualified coaches now, based on some programs that we had said. Incidentally, Coach Enlan uh, actually beat one of the coaching educators in Pablo Mendoza, who was actually coaching Paraguay,
Mhm.
who I remember said to me personally and identified Coach Enlan as one of the future and better coaches, in fact, the best coaches of the cadre of coaches that we had during the coaching program. So we are pleased, at the results of what Coach Enlan and Nicky Bradshaw has been able to do.
Yeah, we've hosted in other sports international events, and sporting events of this magnitude takes a lot of work. But your team, in my opinion, did very well. You had entertainment, you provided translators for the Spanish speaking teams, and there was just an entire vibe that was built around it. Not just what was happening on the field, but off it. How would you assess the execution of it? And is this something that you would want to do more often in terms of hosting more international events?
No, yeah, certainly. I mean, one of the pillars of our development is not just international or national excellence. It's also what we call international or major tournaments. Uh, we have a very good team. We have actually done this before. I think we've now, for me, we've done two international tournaments, but overall, I think we have done three over the past several years. We do have a group that fully understands what is required related to the international tournament. And I would say that in addition to us, the Pan American Hockey Federation on a board that I also sit works very closely with the host countries. So we were able to go through the paces in terms of what was required, and having a team, including again Dr. Campbell, people like Dion, uh, Smallon, Valerie, included people like Victor, who are experienced people, Victor Tomlinson. It allowed us to, despite the hard work, simply execute what is required. And I have my criticisms, but certainly based on the responses from PAP and all the visitors, they thought it was a well organized tournament, and they are actually looking for us to host additional tournaments. But we'll see. I'm too tired now to think about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to let the summer ease off and then you get back into that. We know that sponsorship, especially for no matter which sport in Jamaica, is usually an issue. Now heading to the World Cup, how has I guess early talks have been going, and how much do you estimate we would need to ensure that all the preparation and resources are met for when we get to Oman?
All right. I'm gonna to take a quick pause or pass on the specific amounts. And the reason is that because immediately after this tournament, we had to go into preparation for the CSC games. Right? We have had and we have had really tremendous help from the Ministry of Sports. I mean, uh, Miss Olivia Babsy, Olivia Green, sorry, Honorable Minister, and the JOA president. I mean, both Chris and Ryan, they've been extremely helpful where hockey is concerned. The the issue that we are going to have to deal with, in my opinion, is to ensure that we organize the sponsorship in and around some level of return on investment. We're very critical in terms of how we look at sponsorship. It's one thing to go out and to just say you're seeking sponsorship, but this World Cup presents an opportunity for businesses and for individuals looking to do or to connect with that side of the world. So we have initiated some discussions. I mean, Jamaica Tourist Board, we have had some discussions as well. But the idea is to sit carefully and calculatedly to ensure that we target the right set of individuals and ensure that they get a level of return on investment. And we also have to include, and I will add, in all of this development, not just the journey to Oman. We have to ensure that we include the stuff that needs to take place, because we at the Jamaica Hockey Federation, we are very committed to the fact that our young people can compete at the world stage. But we need to ensure that the resources are put in place so that they can tour and get the necessary experiences to compete and not just participate as a one-off.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we compete in the CAC games very soon, and the usual expectation is that, for a lot of our sports, we're just going there to participate. But knowing you and our recent achievements, you are aiming to get a medal. Am I right, or are you just using it, as the usual, we're going there to participate and represent our country well, that type of narrative that is usually given?
No, again, I'm a realist, and an aggressive realist. We, I totally believe that if our teams play to their potential, they can be in the medal row. That's something I've seen. The key for us is to continue to take the steps in terms of the improvement of the teams and all phases. Yes, we're doing we made the World Cup in the fives, but what we want to ensure is that at the 11er side, we continue to move forward. Hockey requires, at that level, requires almost the same support that you're looking at for football. I mean, Chile went to the Hockey World Cup, and I'm in touch with those guys because I serve on the Pan American Hockey Federation board. And you're looking at over 7 million, 8 million US dollars for their program. When you look at what we have done with what we have, it is realistically, we are going to have to, for the next level, get the level of resources which really is required, so that I would be confident and speak, very confidently about tackling the top medals. But this group, they are going there for medals, and they're going there for qualification into the Pan Am Games. That I am sure of.
Yeah, hoping that is done. We'd obviously be lying if we said that Jamaicans are diehard hockey fans. But I want to use the narrative or the perspective of cricket seemed to be dying or dead at one point, and then the T20 and T10 versions got a lot of fans backing it, and some fans who weren't interested in cricket in the first place are now following it. With the introduction of fives and knowing that we will be competing at the World Cup, do you think that this is an avenue that will hopefully lead to more fans and media support to local hockey?
I do believe so. I do believe so. We were on the path of the redevelopment of the sport. We actually, in I think 2019, got a youth development award. We were on most media outlets, and we had probably the most schools we had playing. So we were on a particular progressive path, and then came COVID. So we understood that by doing what we did with the fives, and certainly people seeing that you can compete. We in Hockey Nation can compete. What we've seen is a resurgence of people that have interest in the sport. And this all goes well for next strategy or strategic plan, which really involves a lot of the prep school level students, younger students, so that we can increase the base, spread it across the island, because I'm not pleased with the concentration in Kingston, and allow the sport to just continue to grow, to provide us with people that can now look and see that we are able to compete at the world level.
Yeah, you've been president for quite some time. Your beard is a lot grayer from when you had just started. Um, but yeah, you have seen some growth, even though it might not be at an extremely quick pace. There has been some growth. If there is anybody out there listening or watching, what would you tell them to come on board to really support the hockey program here in Jamaica?
There are about two things I'd say to them. Number one, the Hockey Federation has been an exemplary sports federation, right? And we have, as an amateur sports organization, been extremely transparent. Every dollar that comes into my federation can be accounted for. And we try to work with sponsors, work with anybody to enhance what they're doing, as well as us within the sport and where we want to go. Vision is very important on the second hand. Vision took us to the World Cup. The vision and the strategic plan is there for the expansion of the sport. We know that even if I'm not president, the footprint is there for the benefits for all within the sport. So I'm absolutely sure, I'm confident, and I have the faith that this thing will continue, and it will continue to grow. And I suppose if a sponsor comes in, I'm absolutely sure that they will also grow with the sport.
Yeah, and we are hoping that more support is given. Fabian, thank you so much for your time. Hope that we can speak again soon to see how preparation and stuff is going, and wishing you all the best in the coming weeks and months.
All right, man. Thank you very much. All the best to you and your listeners as well.
All right, thank you so much. That is Fabian Stewart, president of the Jamaica Hockey Federation. Very pleased, as you could see and hear, following our men's team qualification to the Hockey Fives, and hopefully one day, we will be seeing that on a regular basis, and hopefully our women will join. They just missed out; they finished fifth. Just missing out on a spot there. It would have been great to have both men's and women's team there, but the program is growing and they need your support. So we go into a break right now here on Sports Talk, so stay with us.
Say hello to real fruit.
Say hello to no sugar added.
Say hello to delicious.
Say hello to Tropicana.
Naturally sweetened, no artificial coloring.
Now that's something I can get with.
Tropicana, here to make your day brighter. Tropicana, real fruit my way.
Change route my way, my way.
Every time my son send the liquor ball for me, I have to go sit down a waff all day like me have nothing else to do. No, sir, you know fear do this.
Tired of spending all day at the wharf to clear your barrel?
Driver, turn up that the little bit for me there.
Starting May 1, use contactless clearance to clear your non-commercial shipments and avoid the long wait. Call Jamaica Customs today at 876-922-51408 or email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jm.
But God goody, me go call customs and learn about the contactless clearance. Hook me up.
Less waiting, more convenience. Try Customs contactless clearance today.
Rise with the sun and face the day with some Lasco instant chocolate. Pull a pack, stir it up. Hot or cold, enjoy the chocolatey goodness any time of the day and unleash instant smiles, instant happiness.
At Flow, we are determined to get it right. Now, over 60% of Jamaica has access to our fiber fast network, with over 800 communities being upgraded since 2020. And there's more to come. Everything we're doing is inspired by our harshest critic, you. Join Jamaica's fiber fast network and rediscover Flow today.
And we're off. Yes, folks, I Love Summer begins with pull-up number 1.
And Spanish Town, tag, you're it. Yes, indeed. The Spanish Town Shopping Center, right by the clock, comes alive Saturday, June 24th with a whole day of fun, games, prizes, and entertainment for the whole family.
Meet the Love FM team, dance and praise with music by DJ Rebirth.
Hey, youth and youth, you better listen out, of course I'll be there to bring you the hottest mixes and remixes and refixes.
And passing through to lively up the place, Bluebird Levy and Odia Spencer. I love summer keep, and you have got to be part of it. So, rock and Colleen.
And let's make it the place to be.
Hey, KG, Deidre, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. The question is, can Spanish Town handle it? I know they can.
Loads of fun about to be unpacked. So yes, Spanish Town, let's go.
I love summer. Saturday, June 24th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Spanish Town Shopping Center, right by the clock.
Live on Love 101 FM, the family station, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
I love summer.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101, the family station. So throughout the year, we have been speaking about the NBA, talking about teams' title chances, who would be the potential award winners, that type of thing. And it came to an end earlier this week with the Denver Nuggets winning their first ever NBA title. Over 40 years they've been playing in the NBA, and they've come close once or twice, making the Western Conference Finals in the days of Carmelo Anthony, but led by Finals MVP Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, who is of Jamaican heritage. His father is Jamaican, and I believe up until when was it, 2019, he held a camp right here in Jamaica. So I guess you could say Jamaica also won. But the Nuggets beating the Miami Heat 4-1. In game one, they took that one 104-93. Miami leveled the series 111-108. But after that, Denver just went on a 3-game winning run. They won game 3, 109-94, then game 4, 108-95. And then on Monday, they sealed the win 94-89. A very impressive performance all year by the Denver Nuggets, who are the best team in the NBA. Jokic, as I mentioned, the Finals MVP, he averaged 30 points a game, along with 14 rebounds and 7 assists, one of the most dominant performances in NBA Finals history. So, ESPN's team of Max Kellerman, Jay Williams, and Keyshawn on their program KJM, they discussed the Nuggets' title win and also what went wrong for Miami. So let's hear that one.
Nuggets have ended the small ball era. Like, think about like Golden State. Like, remember how every team was trying to chase Golden State? You had James Harden and what they were doing in Houston, and it was about guard play and it was about versatility and, you know, a 5 out on the perimeter. Like, now think about like Denver going through Golden State with a bigger team that reminds you of an 80s, 90s style of basketball, right? With their size, their length, how they dominate you with points in the paint, how they dominate you on the glass, how even if they're not shooting the ball well, they're still in a lot of games in the trenches. They won that game ugly last night. You really felt like Miami needed to have a crazy shooting night. And even if they tried to muck up the game, it wasn't going to be enough because they are good at the mucked up style of the game.
Is that because they're playing, they have tall players who are capable of playing small ball? Like Jokic can shoot it from the outside. You saw Aaron Gordon hit some threes. So the fact that if you can play that small ball style with size, then you can also do other things.
Yeah, I mean, think about for LA. LA was trying to find ways to get a lot of their players healthy to get them back in the game, right? Yeah. So they can combat that size. Like Dwight Howard's playing over in Taiwan. Yeah. He's going to be back next year.
He'll be in the NBA.
Somebody's going to say, yo, I need that on my team to combat the size of a guy like Jokic. So you're going to have teams that are going to try to stack up. Like, think about what we're talking about even with Phoenix, right? You're hearing people saying, well, Frank Vogel, are we sure we want to trade DeAndre Ayton? Like, does he give us our best shot to combat that size of Jokic moving forward? Ended the game. They had Jamal Murray out there. And he was asked a question about, you know, when he had the ACL injury and how him and Michael Malone really had a coming to Jesus meeting where he was afraid he was going to be traded. And Michael Malone stuck with it. The last 3 champions of the NBA have been homegrown.
Yeah.
Homegrown, drafted by their franchise.
They showed patience waiting through the injuries and everything.
Giannis, right? Yeah. Coming in like a string bean, like growing over time. Mark Lazary and company, Wes Edens, those owners staying with him. Then you think about what Steph winning it last year, you know, where he got drafted, how he was overlooked, how they built that franchise around him and Clay. They rolled over squads.
Yeah, they rolled over.
They rolled over Minnesota. Phoenix probably had the best punch, and that took D-Book to average 40, once again, 80% shooting, right? Like, granted, they missed CP3. Ayton was kind of a no-show, so there's questions around that. But Phoenix probably gave them the best punch. They swept the Lakers, and they just beat Miami 41.
Watch out. They beat the Lakers.
I mean, but it's bam, 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 bam. That's not a dominant run, regardless of whether what seed they're playing. They took care of business.
They took care of business. There's no question about it. They had a dominant run. They did what they were supposed to do. They handled business. That's how you know they're a very good team. No matter if it's the 8 seed or the 1 seed, and they punched them the way that they did, that's how you know they're a good squad.
So, Key, we're looking on ESPN2 right now. Remember the other day when I was like, Jokic and Murray, it's an all-time duo, and you guys tried to turn it into the Career Accomplishment Award? Look at this. Most points per game by title-winning duo, okay?
It
Shaq and Kobe, almost 60. Steph and KD, 56.5.
No.
Then Jokic and Murray at 56, ahead of LeBron and AD at 55, and Jordan and Pippen at 55.
Yeah,
this is as well as
with those numbers, though, Max.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like O'Neal and Bryant, Curry and Durant. It doesn't look like Jordan. It just doesn't look like it.
Does, but it's just as effective.
I understand. I understand the numbers are the numbers. It is what it is. There's no lies there. But looking at it,
I agree. It doesn't.
And yet it gets it done. I'll take the Hawker. We're still going to get there
at the same time.
It's fine. We're going to get there at the same
time. We're not going to get there at the same
time.
Depending on where we're going, Max. See, if we're going across country, then Jay's got to stop and refuel. I don't have to.
But I would say cool.
Jay's plane, I know.
I would say cool, except they were beating the like sweep, gentlemen sweep. Like they're taking care of business. So when you talk about the greatest pair of teammates to win championships, the ones who played at the highest level. This is why I brought this up the other day. They have played at as high a level, really, as anyone you can talk about. They're right there.
I agree, but here's what I need to see moving forward to put them in that rarefied air.
They're not Shaq and Kobe.
With Kobe, or even
That's what I'm saying.
Even KD and Steph, right? Even Jordan and Pippen.
Yes.
Jamal Murray was not an all-star. He has not been an all-star yet.
But in the playoffs,
yes, but in the playoffs. But it's been a time span between the two in the bubble and where we are now. So the next step for this franchise and those two is now that you are the guys to continue to prove that you are the guys, and everybody is hunting you.
So let's
they've
just
been
say
the hunter for the longest time.
I get it, but let's see Jamal Murray just keeps doing this. He's good in the regular season. Oh, my God, he's spectacular in the playoffs. I'm good as the Nuggets. I don't need him to be crazy in the regular season.
You just need to see it.
But we're talking about putting him in that rare company, though, Max. That's the difference.
In the playoffs, though. I'm not saying during the regular. I mean, in the play. Dude, they're the first pair of teammates to average 25, 5, and 5.
But every last one of those guys on that list did it in the regular season as well as in the post.
I could not.
That's the difference.
I agree. Is Michael Malone the best coach, the best head coach right now? Just won the championship and wasn't really close at all throughout the entire playoffs. He the best coach in the NBA, Jay?
No, I would still say that Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra are ranked ahead of him.
Ty Lue
is, I would still have ranked ahead of him, but Mike Malone is right there knocking on the door. It's like if those three coaches are inside the mansion, hey guys, hey, I'm right here. So
he might be kicking that thing down next year too.
And his answer last night for me is exactly what you want to hear if you're a Denver Nugget fan. We knew we were the best teams, and you're looking here on ESPN2, longest tenure with the team before winning a title. Pat Riley, who's with the Heat for 9 years. Michael Malone with Denver for 8. Red Auerbach with the Celtics for 7.
He's sandwiched between two of the guys on Mount Rushmore. So that you're talking about patience with an organization. There you go.
And well, hold on, okay, I was going to finish for a second. The thing I like about his answer last night started from, "This is great. We took care of business, but I want more." And that's what you want to hear.
Sound like Pat Riley.
Exactly. And he actually quoted Pat Riley, right? And we'll listen to that sound. But it's that kind of mantra where it's about what we have and what we can build. And is it sustainable instead of just this being a one-trick pony type run?
Well, no, they certainly got a team that could continue to have success, no question about it. But when you start talking about when I look at a coach, I don't just look at adjustments. I look at who they working with and what they working with. When you working with Murray and Joker and Porter and Garden to a degree, you got a squad, right? You got a squad. When you look at Eric Spoelstra, the fact that you could be at 2 championships, in the last 4 years at max, that's tough, man.
I'm with you, Key.
You don't have a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You just, when you start saying, wow, what a great coach, it's almost like Barry Switzer gets credit for the Cowboys Super Bowl. But come on, we all know what that was.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson.
That was Jimmy Johnson, and the players led the charge on their own. So it's not taking anything away from Mike Malone. It's just, at the end, it's hard to say you're putting him right up there with 2 or 3 of the guys in the NBA that have sustained such success regardless. It's hard for me to just say, hey, Steve Kerr, with everything he's had, is just like, he's the number 1 guy in the NBA as a coach. I mean, look what he's working with. You look at the data when Brown took over for him, they didn't miss a beat. Okay? Luke Walton took over for him, they didn't miss a beat.
He went like 32-3.
Yeah, so I'm like, let's slow it down.
But Key,
a little bit.
let's look at look, I hear what you're saying. I think Steve Kerr is a great coach, but and I think Michael Malone is certainly an elite coach, but what you said about Spoelstra, to me, that's where I am. I think it's Eric Spoelstra because Spoelstra has done it with super talented teams, with teams that are not nearly as talented. He's done it over time. He's done it consistently. You've never seen Eric Spoelstra and be like, man, that was a bad coaching. They lost because of the coach. They're always ready to go. He's always making adjustments.
There's no way in hell, Jay, and you know this, they're supposed to be in the NBA Finals this year.
No way.
I don't care.
I agree.
Way.
No, let alone 2 of the last 4. Not a chance. Not a chance. They're supposed to be in 2 of the last 4.
I mean, look, we work with them. I played against him. I mean, Karan Butler has told me so many incredible stories about how Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley work together. That is one of the most underrated things that nobody's going to talk about. Eric Spoelstra has been able to flourish under the tutelage and also pressure of one of the greatest coaches to ever do that. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that was for Eric Spoelstra when he wanted to be fired by LeBron James, for Pat Riley to say no to LeBron James and have confidence in E Spo to stay with it, and for that to culminate to them winning multiple championships? Like, that takes guts.
And that was the ESPN team of Max Kellerman, Jay Williams, and Keyshawn talking about the Denver Nuggets title win. Whether they think that Denver Nuggets head coach Michael Malone is amongst the best in the NBA, and what went wrong for Miami. Just to give you just a few facts, because the Denver Nuggets became the second original ABA franchise, that's before the NBA had existed, to win an NBA championship. It was the first championship after 56 combined years. And they are also the first Western Conference team from outside the states of California or Texas to win a championship since the 1979 Seattle Supersonics. That's also quite interesting there. So the Nuggets basking in their glory. Carolyn, she sent in a picture on our WhatsApp line of her son at the Jamal Murray camp back in Mobile. She says she's not a fan of Denver, but definitely a Murray supporter. Like I mentioned earlier, Jamal Murray, his father is Jamaican, so though Murray was born and raised in Canada, still connects with his Jamaican roots, and they have been giving back to Jamaican basketball here. So congratulations to the Murray family and the Denver Nuggets on a whole. Like we said at the start of the show, we really wanted to play the Father's Day feature, but our achievement at qualifying for the Hockey Fives took up more time than we thought it would, and rightly so, because it's not every day one of our national teams qualify for a World Cup, and we shouldn't take it for granted. But I do want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, whether you're involved in sports or not. We know that you are an important pillar in our society, and we truly need more of you to step up so that our society in general becomes better. You know, a lot of our young men and even our young women, we see on a regular basis heading down the wrong path, but we believe, I believe, just speaking for myself, that a strong father presence, instilling the right values and morals will truly help our society be better. And then sports wise, a supporting father is only going to help our athletes get better. We see all around the world, even most recently, Erling Haaland, who just won the treble with Manchester City, crediting what his father did. We know our very own Leon Bailey, Reggae Boy, and his relationship with his father, Craig Butler, and I could go on and on. So it just shows that with the help of, a strong male presence, and you don't even need to be the father of that child, but just instill proper values, and our society and in turn sports will be much better. So hope that you have a great Father's Day tomorrow, and happy Father's Day to my father, Dave, who was on the show last year. Hi, Dad. Hope you're doing well. See you tomorrow. And yeah, to all the fathers in my family, truly appreciate the impact that you've had on my life. So that is it for Sports Talk today, Saturday, June 17th. Hope that you enjoyed it, and reminding you, as always, that Sports Talk is brought to you by Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. It happens every Saturday afternoon right here on the family station Love 101 from 1 to 2 p.m. Until then, Please enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and if possible this weekend, because I know it's Father's Day, but watch some sports.